Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to NXT, and tonight it is finishing the Money in the Bank qualifying matches for both men's and women's division here tonight on NXT. And the matchup kicking us off tonight will be Dragon Lee, the Lucha Libre star, taking on Reggie, one-on-one, here to kick us off tonight. Like we mentioned, all the matches tonight here on NXT will be finishing all of the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. So 2 from the men's division, 2 from the women's division. The other matches including tonight, Meiko Satomura taking on Ivy Nile, as well as Cora Jade, former NXT Women's Champion, taking on Wendy Choo. Also a massive battle royal to determine the last spot, as there is the high flyer Reggie there. You're going to see Samoa Joe, Wardlow, MJF, Baron Corbin, Joe Gacy, and Bryan Danielson, all with an opportunity to qualify for the last spot tonight in the main event of NXT. Certainly, I believe, ladies and gentlemen, this young man, Reggie, he has not gotten any opportunities here in NXT, but tonight, could you imagine this young man gets a moment of a lifetime here tonight to kick off NXT, defeats a Lucha Libre star in Dragon Lee, and gets himself to Mania. As the referee rings the bell for this contest, both of these superstars high-flying. It's going to be hard to call this match in moments because there's going to be just so much high-flying. It's going to be like 2 supermen going at it, just flying around this ring. Now Dragon Lee now going to show you that strength and power. Maybe no. Frankensteiner dropping him right on his head. And just like that, that will slow down the high-flying of Reggie, I can tell you that. And now, going to go for the underhook backbreaker. Goodness. And this is what Dragon Lee needs to do, and this is actually a good strategy to do against any high flyer, is to slow them down, take it to the legs, but also show that power game that we're seeing in this ground game from Dragon Lee, as Lee, with a drop kick to the side of the skull. Dragon Lee honestly might finish this matchup very, very quickly here. Dragon Lee looking for his breakout moment, his moment to stand out here in NXT, and this could be his moment to go on to NXT Stand and Deliver, go on in a big crowd there in Hollywood, California, win the matchup, and be the Mr. Money in the Bank for NXT. As now Lee gonna go high risk here. Frog splash, no, it misses by Reggie. Can Reggie capitalize now? This is the moment he needs. He hasn't really had much going for himself besides that early attack to Dragon Lee in the beginning of this matchup. Here we go, off the ropes, here we go. Dragon Lee now with the agility into a dropkick that basically just walked all over him there. You know, you brought your A game when you're pulling out those type of maneuvers. It's like when you see people run up against the wall and do a backflip. It's just absolute craziness. As look at that maneuver, and now into an armbar situation. Will Reggie have nowhere to go? He can try to crawl if he wants, but that might be even more damage. But he's able to slip out of it. Not too much damage done there, and he connects with a Hurricane Rana. Back and forth we go. High stakes, high rewards, all to go on to WrestleMania weekend, to Hollywood, California, to a chance that definitely will change your life if you win the Money in the Bank briefcase. You can cash in that briefcase on any championship that you want. A lot of superstars like to cash it in on that world championship for their own prospective brands. But honestly, you can use it for whatever championship. We saw it used by Tony D'Angelo in a breakout tournament. But obviously in these Money in the Bank briefcase matches, most of the time it is for like I mentioned, the champions world championship of the brand, if that makes sense. So obviously it would be the NXT championship that Kenny Omega holds, obviously World Heavyweight Champion Gunther on Raw, and Sami Zayn on SmackDown with his undisputed championship. But there is nothing wrong with trying to challenge for the likes of a North American Championship, especially if the main event scene is on fire type of situation. It's just, you got to pick and choose when you believe it's the right opportunity here. As Reggie trying to get this crowd fired up behind him. Dragon Lee going to use it to his advantage, but Reggie with a big reversal. Here comes Reggie. Now Dragon Lee, back and forth we go. Like I said, going to be difficult to call at times, as now a head scissors takedown there of Reggie. Pinfall opportunity. Reggie is right there But he's able to hit a strong kick out there. And Reggie doing the right thing, rolling out of the ring, trying to buy himself some kind of time, even if it's a little bit, to really digest the situation and try and figure some kind of game plan out here. Feels like in this matchup, this feels like it's anyone's ball game at this moment, as both men running into each other, trying to figure out what they want to do. Reggie getting blocked. And now, ooh, Lee. Dragon Lee trying to go with a slugfest right there with Reggie, but Reggie's like, no, let's go ahead and change it up. Why not? Uh-oh, Reggie now with an abdominal. No, looks like an abdominal stretch incoming, but Dragon Lee able to reverse out of it. Can he capitalize? Can he get himself to WrestleMania? Uh-oh, big time takedown. Almost like what we've seen from Kalisto back in the day. 2, 3, Dragon Lee is going to WrestleMania. He's going to WrestleMania weekend, a part of NXT Stand and Deliver. It will be Saturday, early in the morning. NXT Stand and Deliver. Dragon Lee is one of the members to qualify for the matchup. He's the 5th superstar to join the matchup. We'll see who in the main event will join this superstar among the others. Massive win for Dragon Lee and this impressive superstar. And now we get to see who the 5th member of the women's Money in the Bank matchup will be, as Ivy Nile makes her way down in the ring. Ivy Nile will be taking on Meiko Satomura here, live here on NXT. Certainly a massive moment for big women, two of these big women I should say, looking to make a name for themselves on NXT. Certainly Ivy Nile not too pleased with the outcome of Diamond Mine, with not them going to NXT Stand and Deliver to represent the tag team division, but they are, they're Ivy Nile, I think she's at least happy with what Diamond Mine has proved here in this division, but obviously herself and Diamond Mine wanted better results. But now they just go back to the drawing board, continue to strain more and more, get better as the day goes, and maybe eventually they will be able to become tag team champions, but it just wasn't their time here in NXT apparently, as now here comes Meiko Satomura. She was in that NXT Deadline Iron Women's Survivor matchup. Wasn't able to really get what she wanted in that matchup, but tonight, hey, she gets to qualify for that Money in the Bank matchup. Certainly could be a career changer for her career. She's been on the glimpse of being, that woman here in NXT, but, with NXT starting to get more women, it's going to be hard to have yourself the moment, but that's when you have to continue to, evolve and adapt to the situation. And Meiko, she's done quite well for herself. And now tonight she'll have a chance to defeat Ivy Nile here. Referee rings the bell. Here we go. Ivy Nile, Meiko Satomura. It's a big springboard forearm coming out here early and taking it to the ever-impressive Ivy Nile. And could these women be returning to NXT, a part of that WWE draft, ladies and gentlemen? Or will it be essentially a thing where Shawn Michaels or JBL say, hey, I believe Diamond Mine would be good on Raw or on SmackDown? Something that we'll have to really see after WrestleMania, kind of see what the landscape looks like for both Raw and SmackDown and even NXT, and be like, okay, Adam Pierce, JBL, and Shawn Michaels, they can sit in their respective boardrooms, sit down, have a list of names, and go, okay, hey, this is who I want. This is who I want. Okay, if this person's not here, I want this person. So it'll definitely take some time. As now Meiko with a devastating lariat, turning Ivy Nile inside out. Man, it's not a lot of time where you really see Ivy Nile getting turned inside out like that, but this was the one time you absolutely saw it there. Into a flying clothesline forearm strike, whatever you want to call it, highly effective. And now Meiko Satomura going high risk into the frog splash. Is that it? 2. No, Ivy Nile continuing the fight, but how much is left in this young lady? continuing to scratch and claw here. And now Meiko just going to focus on the left knee, the left leg, trying to just work on the limbs, try and take it to her as much as she can. Into a big boot over the top rope. Down goes Ivy Nile, a hard landing. And Meiko's definitely fired up here. This Orlando crowd loving what they're seeing from Meiko Satomura right now. And another one, but no, Ivy Nile moves out of the way. It only needs one chance for one of these women to go on and grab that briefcase in that ladder match. Could you imagine Meiko Satomura throwing ladders in that ring? And then you could see Ivy Nile picking up the ladder and just spinning it around and hitting her opponents. Anything is possible there once you make it to WrestleMania weekend, part of NXT Stand and Deliver. It's going to be a phenomenal event from top to bottom. Kenny Omega, Jay White, NXT Championship on the line. Two former Bullet Club leaders going at it in that matchup. You got Malachi Black and Sting in a Hell in a Cell matchup. That's bound to get absolutely crazy for sure. We still got to find out who Tony D'Angelo's opponent is for NXT Stand and Deliver, and we'll see if someone will step up and want to challenge Tony D'Angelo. As now Nile focusing on the big quads, now the ribs, looking to focus on everything right now. Certainly, why not? You got to find some kind of weakness into what Meiko Satomura brings to the table. Oh, jumping forearm strike. That will certainly help. It's one of those women that you wrestle that you gotta really do everything in a matchup. You gotta target her early and often and bring the fight to her. You cannot allow her to bring the fight to you. And obviously that makes sense to anyone in the playbook, but with just how dominant Meiko Satomura can be with her offense right now, I think Ivy Nile's doing quite well for herself here. And now Ivy Nile gonna go flying here. Frog splash there. Will that be enough? She got plenty of height on it. Oh, but a strong kick out from Meiko. And just like that, keeps herself in this matchup. Ivy Nile going to the well one more time. Will it be worth it? Will Ivy Nile be able to go to Stand and Deliver? Big time Hurricane Rana. And now Ivy Nile done playing around. She wants her spot at WrestleMania weekend. And now from behind. Oh, look at this submission hold here. Just torquing the head. Very unique submission hold here. Will Meiko somehow be able to maybe grab the top rope or something, or even get out of it? But look at these knees from Meiko. Gonna have a broken nose for Ivy Nile if she continues to take strikes like that. Jesus. Oh, is Ivy Nile running right through her like a brick wall? This is anyone's matchup to win right now. Nile now. She's going to go one more time. And now we got a better angle here. Trying to suffocate Meiko. Is this it? It seems like this is a stronger grip here. This could be it. This could be a massive win of her career. Is this it? Just trying to suffocate her right now. How much is left? Oh, and again, the knees to the temple. And she's able to get out of it momentarily into the springboard forearm. Holy crap. And now referee in position. Will those knees be enough? But Ivy Nile now with a strong kick out. This is the type of matchup you love to see. They continuing to battle throughout as that Pele kick helps out Meiko. But like you said, it's just the back and forth strikes, the counters, the reversals, and even the strong kickouts as these women continue to show you was brought them to NXT and certainly has got them to where they are today and being very dominant in the middle of this ring. And look at Ivy Nile rolling outside of the ring, trying to just recuperate briefly. That's all you can do at this moment. These women have literally beat the snot out of each other. And it's one of those parts where you think that maybe the next big maneuver or the next combination of maneuvers may be enough to put them away. Be a damn shame if this ended in a count out or a disqualification or anything, because right now this is honestly probably the match of the night so far. I know this is only the second matchup so far, but still, especially with a high anticipation, with us just being a week away from the Stand and Deliver event to where you can get your opportunity of a lifetime. Both these women maybe seem like they're going to go back in the ring. Yes, we do. Makita and Ivy Nile now. Oh, look at that power, that strength of Ivy Nile, making that look so easy. Diamond Mind, they seriously make everything look easy, just from their workouts and everything. They're just on top of their game. It may not necessarily show up in the win column all the time, but certainly gotta love what they bring to the table. And now Meiko Satomura has Ivy Nile up, looking to finish her. Down goes Nile. Is this it? 1, 2, 3. Somehow, someway, Meiko Satomura pulls out a victory. Honestly, how it was looking, it looked like it was going towards the favor of Ivy Nile tonight, but Meiko at this very end of this matchup was able to dodge, connecting with the Death Valley driver. Down goes Ivy Nile, and Meiko Satomura is going to stand and deliver, and she very well could walk out with the Money in the Bank briefcase. But we'll see who will join her next, as it's Cora Jade and Wendy Choo live here on NXT. Tiffany Stratton, if you want to get extreme at Stand and Deliver, so be it. I'm called the Prodigy for a reason. I am the next up-and-coming superstar to lead NXT into greatness. And yes, I am a multi-time NXT Women's Champion, but your reign and terror here as NXT Women's Champion, it comes to an end at Stand and Deliver. I promise you that. All the money in the world cannot save you from this ass whooping I plan on giving you at Stand and Deliver. Whether it's a steel chair, the announce table, a ladder, steel steps, kendo stick stop sign, it does not matter. I'm going to give you one of the biggest ass whoopings of all time. And I'm taking that women's championship away from you at Stand and Deliver. And I'll see you next week here on NXT. I promise you that. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it will be Wendy Choo taking on Cora Jade here live tonight. It'll be a matchup, certainly, though. Won't forget, Wendy Choo certainly maybe going to WrestleMania weekend, going to Stand and Deliver, and going to be taking a big nap in front of that big crowd. Maybe grab that championship up top there, or I should say that Money in the Bank briefcase, and, you know, she could catch it any time. Probably be one of the most craziest situations for a athlete to be come to an arena like this and, you know, make it to the top. I'm not saying Wendy Choo's not talented, but certainly with having her coziness or her sleeping wear right here on NXT, I mean, certainly she very well could surprise everyone and win that Money in the Bank briefcase, but sadly for her tonight, she's going to have to go through a multi-time NXT Women's Champion in Cora Jade. She's looking to make it all about the generation of Jade once again. Cora Jade did lose that Women's Championship to Tiffany Stratton a while back. Tiffany Stratton continuing to be undefeated into WrestleMania season. And just next week live, it will be Tiffany Stratton versus Roxanne Perez in an Extreme Rules match for the NXT Women's Championship. And both of these women right here are looking to get the final spot in the women's side of things, as we just witnessed Meiko Satomura defeat Ivy Nile. Like I mentioned in that matchup, it seemed like Ivy was probably getting close to maybe pulling off a massive win over Meiko Satomura, but just wasn't her time. But right now, we get Cora Jade taking on Wendy Choo one-on-one before our massive Battle Royal main event here tonight on NXT. Crowd absolutely hyped up about this matchup. Who is going to Stand and Deliver? As here we go, matchup is officially started. Here comes Wendy Choo with the fast assault here on Cora Jade early on. And I like that sign in the crowd. It says, "Don't snooze on Wendy." Because that means don't sleep on Wendy. She may have, you know, this different persona, this different type of wrestling attire, but she is signed to WWE for a reason. It's not like she would just be a random person on the street in sleeping attire, and Adam Pearce would be like, "Oh, hey, you know, by the way, I'm just going to toss you in the ring with a bunch of other wrestlers." Obviously not. Oh, seems like maybe Wendy Choo just maybe waking up a little bit, getting her stretch in here. Oh, and now gonna do some kind of taunt, telling Cora Jade that maybe it's sleepy time for her. Cora Jade gonna be tested very, very physically and mentally in this matchup. From Wendy Choo demeanor, obviously there's gonna be a lot of mind games coming into play in this matchup. As look at Wendy Choo with the big strikes there, and win again, right to the chest of Cora Jade there. And now, oh, big takedown there of Wendy Choo. Let's see if Cora Jade can get herself back inside this matchup here. Big Hurricane Rana takedown. Cora Jade starting to anticipate what Wendy Choo may be having in store here. And now, here comes big inside guard to the side of the skull. This is what brought Cora Jade to the dance. One of the better women here on NXT, looking to solidify herself as that. With a win tonight, will get her into one of the biggest matches in NXT, and that being that Money in the Bank briefcase matchup. Oh my goodness, look at that swinging maneuver right onto the kneecap. That is not going to be feeling too good, and certainly could have yourself a broken nose concussion if you continue to take those type of maneuvers. And the snap suplex will not help out as well. But ladies and gentlemen, the go-home show of NXT is bound to be crazy because Kenny Omega, Jay White will be face-to-face here on NXT. Malachi Black and Sting, they go face-to-face live on NXT as well. We're going to see Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Perez face-to-face as well. And also, the winner of this matchup will join the 5 other women in a women's battle royal matchup. Get ourselves a little bit of taste before Saturday's Stand and Deliver matchup. Oh, missile dropkick miss from the second rope. Wendy Choo has the momentum. At least we thought so. As now Cora Jade with a snapmare takedown. Here comes Cora. Oh, dropkick. As well as we will find out, ladies and gentlemen, on the next episode of NXT, the go-home edition of NXT, who North American Champions Tony D'Angelo's opponent will be next week. Adam Pearce will let everybody know who D'Angelo will be facing live there at Stand and Deliver. So certainly a lot of big things, as well as we're going to be hearing from your NXT Tag Team Champions, the Undisputed Era, after they attacked Pretty Deadly last week here on NXT, next week on the Go Home Show. As, oh my goodness, what a maneuver from Wendy Choo. Is she going to pick up a massive win here on NXT? No, Wendy Choo did not have enough oomph on that finishing maneuver. Can she put away Cora Jade here? Uh-oh. Oh, no, not the hair. Not the hair. Oh, no. Hopefully Cora Jade does not have extensions because her hair might be ripped out. Oh, my goodness. As you could feel, she's feeling her hair, making sure she's not going bald now. Oh, my goodness. What a forearm strike. Back and forth we go, though. And now Choo from behind. About to go for a choo-choo train real quick. And look at Wendy Choo just like, oh, yeah, I'm not really taking this matchup too lightly at this moment. Saying, I think I'm about to finish this matchup. Time for bed. And Wendy Choo blocking Cora Jade from trying to roll outside the ring. And now Cora's in trouble. Wendy Choo, no. Going for a moonsault of sorts, but it didn't work out in her favor. And now Wendy Choo gonna look to go for the hair extensions one more time if Cora Jade does have any. As again, man, that is gonna hurt for sure. Man, I could not imagine my hair being pulled like that. That would be a killer right there. And I do feel bad if Cora does happen to have extensions, or any of the women that would have to go through that if you have extensions, because that, oh my goodness, I would hate to go through that. And Wendy Choo taking it to Cora Jade. Very surprisingly, Cora Jade cannot get much offense going here. She can't muster any type of offense at this point, as she eats the top of the rope right there as well. Wendy Choo, honestly, could be moments away putting this matchup away. Oh, as soon as I say that, Cora Jade, with a big reversal, takes down Choo. And this is where this is her do-or-die moment. If she wants to go to Stand and Deliver, she's going to try to put away Wendy Choo right here, right now. because Wendy Choo is one big maneuver away from possibly putting this matchup away and solidifying herself as the last woman to be in that Money in the Bank matchup. As now a senton there from Cora Jade. Will that be enough to put her to sleep? Yes, it is. Cora Jade survives Wendy Choo tonight. I honestly thought we might see Wendy Choo advance with how it was going, but Cora Jade kept fighting the system there, kept fighting back. Towards the end, hits that flying senton right to the ribs, and that gives Cora Jade the last spot in the women's Money in the Bank, ladies and gentlemen. What a win for Cora Jade. Gets the last guaranteed spot into it, but now we get to the men's Battle Royal. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is main event time here in NXT. It is to determine the last spot in the men's Money in the Bank matchup. Like we said, it's Samoa Joe, Wardlow, MJF, Baron Corbin, Joe Gacy, and Bryan Danielson. The winner will become the winner and get the final spot for their Money in the Bank matchup. Corbin does technically have a Money in the Bank win in his book. Finn Balor at that time had the Money in the Bank briefcase. This was years ago. We would see Finn Balor and Baron Corbin go at it in a Money in the Bank briefcase matchup where the winner would take the briefcase. Finn Balor was walking into that matchup with a briefcase. Balor would lose to Corbin, and Corbin would have control of the Money in the Bank briefcase, but would eventually try to cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase on a championship, but would fail. So this matchup very well could give him an opportunity to actually be in the Money in the Bank matchup and actually win the championship, or win the briefcase to challenge for the championship. And now we start to wait for all these competitors to make their way down to the ring. This is a massive, massive matchup for all these superstars. This will be Corbin's second opportunity to get himself qualified for this Money in the Bank. Last week losing a tag team matchup with himself and Tony D'Angelo, taking on Wesley and Nathan Frazier. Frazier and Wesley looked absolutely phenomenal as a tag team, so we'll see how if they are able to work together, maybe, possibly, walking in to that Money in the Bank matchup. As now, here comes MJF, looking to get himself the Money in the Bank briefcase. Ever since Deadline, we haven't really seen MJF whatsoever. This will be the first time since that Deadline matchup, and also this will be the first time we've seen also Wardlow since that event as well. For Wardlow, he's probably going to be embarrassed. He did not pick up one submission or pinfall in that whole Deadline matchup. For 25 minutes, he was not able to get a single one at all, which I know in the first place that's not easy at all when you have 5 superstars in a fatal 5-way situation. But for a big man like himself, you should have been able to figure out something. But you could say the same thing about the other women, with Zoe Stark not able to get much of anything pinfall-wise as well for the women's side. And now here comes the next one, Samoa Joe. We haven't seen him in a good while. He is security for Adam Pearce. But Samoa Joe going to try to get himself an opportunity and go ahead and maybe cash in his briefcase if he were to not only win tonight, to get into that matchup, and then also win at NXT. Samoa Joe, one of the most devastating superstars in the middle of that ring. Could you imagine a dangerous Samoa Joe with that briefcase? It's going to be very difficult to get used to this crowd being all behind Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe standing up to Adam Pearce before Wardlow was about to take out Adam Pearce at that time. We'd see matches between Wardlow and Samoa Joe, and even into that Survivor Series matchup, Wardlow's team would win that as well. So it's something about Wardlow and company just not been able to figure him out. But now, tonight, it's going to be every man for himself in this Battle Royal. It's going to be almost like a Royal Rumble in the terms. You're going to have eyes behind your head. And talking about Wardlow, ladies and gentlemen, here he comes. The warhorse of NXT could be your next Money in the Bank. But he's going to have to go through 5 other superstars. Going to even have to go through his, I guess you could call it, I don't know if you want to say friend, business partner, whatever it is, but that being MJF. MJF got into the head of Wardlow and got him out of the Blackpool Combat Club, and Wardlow dominated the Blackpool Combat Club, even putting them on the shelf for a little bit of time. Wardlow and company defeated the Blackpool Combat Club and Samoa Joe at Survivor Series. Wardlow was even in the deadline matchup recently, but for him wasn't able to walk out victorious. And this is the first night we've seen Wardlow since NXT deadline. Maybe he had some injuries he had to deal with, maybe some prior obligations to really take care of, but he's back tonight looking to brutalize the field and get him in that Money in the Bank matchup. There's only one spot left. Only one superstar can take it. And who will that be? Could Wardlow be your man? Could it come down to MJF and Wardlow in this matchup? Can't wait to see, but this is going to be hard hitting from the get-go. I'm looking forward to maybe Wardlow and Baron Corbin getting their hands on each other. Certainly that'd be a big time opportunity, as Joe Gacy about to make himself known in this matchup here. This man is very crazy of those sorts. He definitely gives you that Bray Wyatt type of feel to this young man. But you know, I think for Joe Gacy, if he does get drafted back to NXT, I think for him, depending on who Adam Pearce drafts, I think it could be could be the year of Joe Gacy coming up in just a couple weeks' time outside of WrestleMania. But also, this could be Joe Gacy's time to get himself the biggest win of his career in this Battle Royal, to go on to Stand and Deliver, possibly walk out with that briefcase, and he could be a game changer for sure. That's what we're saying. This Money in the Bank briefcase, it changes your career, preferably for the better. I'm not saying it doesn't always work out, but for the most part, it does work out. As we wait for all the competitors, we are waiting for one last competitor. Is a multi-time WWE champion, a man that has been a former tag team champion with Jon Moxley. It is the one and only Bryan Danielson, the master of the technical submission background. He is here, and he is looking to pick up a big win for Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Cesaro. Ever since Wardlow, I feel like I say it every time they come out, but you know, they got to figure out something. Wardlow has taken them to a whole different dimension, and they're trying to figure something out. It still kind of feels like a rebuild, or just trying to feel themselves out at this moment, trying to figure out where they actually stand here in NXT right now. Because they were at the top of the top here in NXT, and all of a sudden Wardlow brings them back down to earth. Certainly imagine if this was the Wardlow we saw with the Blackpool Combat Club, man, we wouldn't even be at this situation. But unfortunately, we are here. This is what we have to deal with, and we'll see if Bryan can, you know, use this opportunity of a lifetime to get in that Money in the Bank matchup and shock everybody and walk out with that Money in the Bank briefcase. Like we mentioned, this man is a former WWE champion, multi-time WWE champion, has faced off with the best of the best here in WWE, and will look forward to maybe winning that Money in the Bank matchup and challenging whoever's champion. Here we go. Matchup is officially started. You got Joe and Corbin going at it. MJF and Gacy. You got Danielson briefly going after Wardlow. MJF saving Wardlow momentarily. Looks like Wardlow and MJF want to get a little taste of each other here in the terms of bringing the fight. As what a brutal power slam that was, or power bomb. And now Corbin with his back suplex. I think out of the superstars in this matchup, I think Joe Gacy is an underrated, the most underrated in this matchup, if I'm being honest with you. And now Corbin going to get tossed in the corner. Gacy going to hit a DDT on Samoa Joe. Wardlow and MJF going at it now. Can Wardlow eliminate his business partner? Yes, he does. All for themselves in this matchup is now Corbin with a one-handed choke slam. Back and forth we go. Who is going to stand and deliver the last spot in the Money in the Bank matchup? We'll finish off the women's side of things on SmackDown as well, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We finished the men's side last week on SmackDown. We'll figure out who will be joining the rest of the women in that Money in the Bank qualifying matches on SmackDown, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Plenty of high-octane action will be coming your way live on SmackDown. That's now Corbin and Gacy going back and forth. Corbin getting dropped right on that top rope, man. Absolutely brutal. And now, Gacy. Gacy with a brutal neck breaker to Wardlow. Gacy going to try to really see how he fares against these other big guys in this ring. Gacy very underrated with what he brings to the table. He briefly had a group called Chisholm with himself and the Grizzled Young Veterans. Even had Ava Raine in that group, but then Grizzled Young Veterans would eventually leave NXT, leave WWE, and then Ava Raine would essentially be left to the side as well. So unfortunately for them, as Corbin blocking Bryan Danielson there briefly. Corbin taking out everybody that stands in his way at the moment. This is anyone's ball game right now. Change your career, change your opportunity. Gacy hasn't gotten much done in his career. This could be his moment. Baron Corbin, he's briefly a Intercontinental Champion. He will look to, make this his moment. And yes, he has held that Money in the Bank briefcase not too long. As Corbin, I should say, Danielson about to be eliminated, but unfortunately for that, now Gacy eliminated by Wardlow. That's why you got to be so careful when you're on the close to the ropes like that and you don't pay attention. You can get clotheslined or thrown over the top. As now we are down to 4. Wardlow, Corbin, Danielson, Samoa Joe. Who is going on to stand and deliver? And now look at this, a back body drop. Gonna hurt in that lower back, certainly. And again, nice rebound clothesline or rebound shoulder tackle, whatever you'd like to call it. Highly effective. A little bit of a low blow. That is perfectly legal, though. And now Bryan giving 2-for-1 specials out to Corbin and Joe there. Danielson trying to eliminate Corbin. Samoa Joe is not going to allow that to happen. We know those two had a rivalry back in the day. Joe wants to eliminate Corbin, and he does. And now we are down to 3. Wardlow, Samoa Joe, and Bryan Danielson. Corbin was really hoping this would be his moment, ladies and gentlemen, but not tonight. And out of these 3, I honestly don't know who it could be. Bryan definitely needs it with all the stuff he's had to deal with. And now, how ironic, as Samoa Joe's eliminated, it is down to Wardlow and Bryan Danielson. 2 of these superstars that have gone at it for months now. Wardlow has had the upper hand on, obviously, the whole Blackpool Combat Club, and he can stick it to him again by taking it to Bryan Danielson right here. If he can somehow eliminate him, he just hit him with an F10, and he could be mere moments away from eliminating him and going on to Money in the Bank. Oh no, Wardlow does, oh my goodness, man, he just makes it look so effortless in that ring, man. I can only imagine that this is gonna go very badly here very soon, as Wardlow gonna just pick him up with ease, gonna try to flip him over. He does, and Wardlow has eliminated Bryan Danielson, and Wardlow is going to stand and deliver, pardon me. Wardlow sticking it once again to Bryan Danielson and company again. With Wardlow being in this Money in the Bank matchup now, ladies and gentlemen, Wardlow could be your next Money in the Bank here for NXT. This man is a genetic freak, and we'll see how he fares next week at Stand and Deliver. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys on SmackDown.